So it's almost as if you get to hear your favorite radio show host whenever you want to. So make sure that you go to our page, download and subscribe Spotify. If you're in the Google Play Store, look for Google Podcasts and download and subscribe to our channel, Down to Earth with Harry Kamek. Make sure you look for us. I look forward to continue being of service to you. So today I want to talk, it's October is Breast Cancer Awareness Month. It's also Domestic Violence Awareness Month. And I wanted to talk about sexual, and it's something that is a part of breast cancer, but it's something that we really don't talk much about. And it's because the information on it is not so readily available. It is when we talk about breast cancer, we reference women. It's time that we look at it because it is a part of male health. And being a part of male health means that we have to talk about everything associated with health. And sometimes we tend to forget too what it takes to be what it takes. And so for so often we think that breast cancer is just confined to women, but it's not. Breast cancer is all trying to understand, but more importantly, it's something that we're all trying to make sure that if you're a guy and you end up with breast cancer, it's important that you know that help is available so you won't be overlooked. I think men also suffer from the stigma of, well, I don't have breasts because I'm a man. Well, you call it pecs. Those things on your chest with a little nipple, you probably call them your pecs or something. But I'm beginning to think that if there's a history of breast cancer, and I want to shoot some stuff at you, and if you're male, I suggest that you go get checked out. So here's why male breast cancer is something to think about. 1% of people who diagnosed with cancer are men. That's a statistic, right? Men also have breast tissue, right? Uh, Men have breast tissue just like women do. It's just that because of that, you should look into it. Now, traditionally, what happens is men don't go in to get a mammogram because what are they going to look at? So they probably do something like 3D imaging where they just take a picture of the breast to see what's going on. But I think men should also examine your feeling under it for a nipple or something hard. I examine my breasts every day. And I've been doing this for more than 10 or 15 years now. So because I'm accustomed to how it feels, I'm probably going to know what if there is a change and if there's a difference, right? And I think that's the stage where men should get to. Men should get to the stage where you examine your breast daily. I examine mine every night when I'm in bed. I examine my breast because at that time of the day I'm still, I can hear, I'm not wearing a bra, that kind of thing, right? So I think men need to examine, especially the area around the areole, around the nipple, or no hardness, something to look at. If there's a discharge from the nipple, whether the discharge is clear fluid or bloody, you don't need to. There's nothing should come out of your breast because no fluid should come out of your breast. The only time fluid comes out of a woman's breast is when she's about to nurse a baby. At no other time should fluid come out of the breast, right? And you're a man, you're not going to nurse a baby. So there should definitely be no fluid. And if there's a change in the skin texture, then you need to say something. I saw a story where a guy uh saw something, felt something in his breast, and he and his wife thought it was weird. And 4 months later, the lump was still there. By the time they decided to do something about it, and what that contributed to his death were some things to look forward to look at. If there's a risk factor, the risk factors are these: if there is a history of breast cancer in the family. So if a family member, at men too, and that is something for many men would never think about. Never in your wildest dreams would you think that it would be there. In fact, men don't even examine their breast because they don't think that it is something that, that would happen to men. But guess what? It does, right? And it's time for us to sort of, in order to have survivability, we have to start looking at these things as if it's a health crisis and that it is something that is definitely supposed to that could happen. I'm not saying it will, but I'm saying it could. So as usual, prevention is better than cure. So why not go into looking at, in this one, age has nothing to do with it. So it's not like men over 45, men over 35. Just look at your breasts. Guys, just look at your breasts, right? Your pecs. You go to the gym, you build up your chest muscle and see what that is and see what that is like, right? Because this is a real thing and we need to examine it, right? And in talking about breast cancer awareness, the same is on a particular type of breast augmentation that the studies show, and the experience and the data and the statistics show that that particular type of equipment product that is used to be implanted into women to make our boobs appear bigger was in fact a contributing factor to breast cancer in over 410 cases. That's a high number. If you could say one out of 100,000, you could say, well, that's an anomaly. But 410 cases of breast million people, 410 cases is something for you to look at, right? So uh, look into the kind of product that is used to do breast augmentation. Personally, I'm grateful to God that I don't think that I need to do some sort of enhancement of my breast. I'm very grateful for that. But there was a time when I didn't have breasts, when I wore like an A cup, and I used to pray that my boobs would grow. Like seriously, I prayed about it, right? And I became pregnant and breastfed, and that's when my boobs grew. And I'm just saying that for a lot of women turn to augmenting our breasts because it enhances our appearance. It seems to make us more appealing to people whom we want to be attracted to, especially men. But it seems as if, so women go to great lengths to increase their cup size, and you go to a surgery that is unnecessary because you don't need it. It's not life threatening, right? I believe that surgery should be reserved for life threatening. I believe that it leaves a mark. Well, it does. And breast cancer is one of them, right? So the product that they use to put in the textured formatting has been shown to lead to breast cancer. And they're not enough. The manufacturers, obviously, the doctors involved in it, and so on, and everybody who's making money out of it, they're invested in ensuring that the public does not know. Because if the public knows, then everybody's going to stop doing it. Then men will have to adjust, and we will have to adjust to a different standard of beauty, right? Reason it seems to be more sexually appealing to men for us to have big boobs. I don't know why. I didn't make it up. I'm not making it up. It's not me who designed this. It is what it is. And so what we're finding now is that a whole group of people suddenly find themselves at the mercy. And women are like, oh my gosh. Because one of the things I've learned about breast augmentation is that you should take it out every 10 years. What I have learned is that the process to remove it is even more expensive and more rigorous than the process to put it in. So it becomes a deterrent for people. And she wanted to get married. She was on the air, and she, she did get married. But after she put the breast in, she became the product in to increase her cup size. She started getting sick. She started getting fevers and chills, and she couldn't work anymore. And nothing worked. Finally, she figured out that it was the breast. So she went and had it removed. And luckily, she survived. She went to South America, got it done cheaper. And luckily, she survived, right? So she lives to tell the story. So now she's living the way she was born. I think we need to adjust our standard of beauty. I think men, that's all on you. You need to adjust what you see. When she complained about her breasts, her doctor, in fact, had stopped using that particular product. And when she stopped, the doctor said, well, she wasn't going to do it. They came at her, right? And this woman said it was 12 years ago. She was younger. Actually, she was 61 now, or 68, more attractive and more appealing. And she felt that she needed to. And the thing ended up giving her cancer. She had to cut it out, have surgery to remove it. She had to do a mastectomy and all that kind of stuff in order to survive. I am saying that it's time for us to become, as we become more health conscious, but we have to have healthier body images. We have to have healthier body positives and what we consider constructively attractive as opposed to an enhanced appearance. In much the same way people are enhancing their butts. You're putting stuff in your butts to make your butts look bigger, right? Instead of waiting for the results that are derived from long-term exercise, right? And so you put these things in your bodies that we forget our bodies are living organisms. So the stuff that we put in our bodies, guess what it does? It just travels around, right? Yeah, absolutely. It travels around and it goes to all different parts of our bodies and it sits there for years and years and years until it causes something to go wrong. In the event of breast cancer with an enhanced breast product, what they do is the saline, the texture of the material that holds the liquid that is placed in the breast, it leaks. So the bag bursts and leaks, and the fluid leaks into the body. That was what made people sick. And it leaks into the lymphatic nodes, into your lymph nodes. It leaks into your body that makes people sick. Aren't these things that we need to talk about? We need to probably have healthier body images. Why is it that a woman must be a double D or a triple D in order to be considered attractive? Why can't she just be a person? It's how you're born. It's what you look like, right? And I'm saying all of that because I think I think we need to just simply understand what it is. We can't just, you can't just talk about what this is and what it's not. Yeah. We can't just have people running around town and just looking like everybody's a triple D and a double D. I saw one commercial once that they were like they had triple G size. And I'm like, for the love of God in Christ Jesus, that is absolutely heavy to walk around with. And I don't care how it makes me look. I'm not going to do that to myself. Right. And I'm not saying that all surgery is bad. Some cosmetic surgery is good if it's going to make you slimmer. Heck, to be honest with you, I could do with it. I probably could do with losing a few inches around my waist and around and so on. But I'm going to wait for the benefit of long-term diet and exercise that is proving to be much more effective and is less harmful. In other words, what I'm saying is when you consider the implications of cosmetic surgery, I think one of the considerations we need to determine is how harmful, and on a scale of 1 to 10, how harmful is this likely to be? I suppose that in some industries, if you're an actor, actress, model, or beauty queen, if that is your full-time job and your earnings are based solely on your appearance, I guess you're in a catch-22 situation because you don't have a choice. If you're an anchor on TV, you don't have a choice but to do surgery. The body is going to do what it does, organically break down, and over time, it's going to show some wear and tear even with the best possible care that you could apply. Believe me, friends, I have over the years exfoliated my skin twice a week since I was 18, the skin on my face and neck. I have been doing yoga for 27 years. I have been eating right all my life. And when I kid you not to tell you that eventually goes to pot, eventually goes to pot. And even with the best forms of exercise, I've been doing the same yoga for 27 years. And all of a sudden, if you were to look at me, you wouldn't believe it. Why? Because there just comes a time when organically your body just is resistant to what it has become used to. So it's organic because that's the way it is designed to, right? So what I'm saying is for those of us women who are born with A cups, maybe that's the way we are designed to be. Maybe we need to look at something else, right? Have longer hair, that's a less invasive thing. Go get some hair extensions, right? Have longer hair uh, so that you can, have longer hair or whatever. I don't know, because I'm not an advocate of just loosely doing surgery just because I have found that certain types of surgery that are invasive prove detrimental over time. Earlier this year, I did a show on botched up surgeries, and I did a show from the perspective of what happens when people elect to do surgeries that are non-life threatening, and they choose to do cosmetic surgery either based on someone else's impression of what you should look like, someone else's opinion, maybe someone important to them emotionally derided their appearance, and so they felt unattractive. And because that person made them feel unattractive, they have internalized it to believe that they're unattractive, period. And so I'm saying we need to have healthier body positives. We need to have healthier body images of how and what we look like, what we should look like. How do I feel that I should look at this stage of life as opposed to how I looked when I was in high school? Taking into this unnatural expectation, especially on women, to look like you're perpetually 14 or 15 is unrealistic. And what it has done is you look at women in Hollywood, for instance, and I'm like, oh my God, you're 60 and you look like you were in high school with your body type. I know you're taking drugs to keep looking that slim. I know you cannot be healthy. It's unnatural. And the same is not expected of men. And that is unfair as it should be. And that is also an unrealistic expectation placed on women to maintain an appearance that cannot be. We're talking about breast cancer. And we're talking about breast cancer. Why do these things happen? It's a combination of diet, it's a combination of exercise, but it's also a combination of healthcare, right? And these things impact people. I mean, if people don't have health insurance, guess what? They're least likely to go to the doctor. They're least likely to check their breast, and they're least likely to get a mammogram. And because by the time they figure out that something is wrong, guess what? It's too late. We also need to have better body positives. We need to make sure that we're not telling the messaging should not be to women, the bigger your breasts are, is the more attractive and appealing you're going to be. We need to change that. Men, it's all on you. And don't sit back and just smile and encourage a woman who goes out to do surgery you need to talk to her and say, why do you feel the need that you should? That could be proved detrimental to you. Right? We need to talk about these things in an open forum so people know what their options are. If you have a daughter or niece or a cousin, friend who is contemplating doing breast augmentation, talk to them about it. Do you think it's necessary? Who is making you feel so unattractive that you feel compelled to walk into a surgeon and say, put a double D breast on me and then I'm going to be beautiful? If you don't think you're beautiful in your head already, no matter how many triple G's you put in, you're still not going to think you're beautiful. So the problem is not in what someone else thinks. The problem is where you think about yourself. Because as I kid you not, maybe I was blessed and lucky that in an earlier time in my life that I was in beauty pageants and I was a model. So maybe, people affirmed publicly that I was beautiful, but I didn't grow up that way. In fact, when I was growing up, nobody around me ever told me that I was pretty. Nobody told me, especially my mother. It was up until maybe about 9 months before my mom died. I asked her, why did you never tell me that I was pretty growing up? I said, do you have any idea how that could have changed my life? Because for years, I didn't know I was pretty. Do you know when I found out I was pretty? Somebody suggested I go into a pageant. And I said, why? And they said, because you're a pretty girl, go into a pageant. And then I walked into a pageant and all of a sudden everybody started telling me. So I had to accept it because the evidence was overwhelming. Do you see what I'm saying? But because the people around me never affirmed it or never expressed it, especially the people who were emotionally important, I never knew it to be true. And my mother could not answer the question, even as an adult, when I asked her. She's been gone now for almost 2.5 years, right? And 9 months before she died, when I asked her, she never answered the question. She could never tell me, why did you never tell me that I was pretty when I was a child? And obviously I was. But why did you never say it? What made you think you shouldn't have said it? I had to become an adult. So when I had a boyfriend, when I was in my early 20s and when I was a teenager, and he told me that I was pretty, I didn't believe him. I thought he was just because he was my boyfriend, he was just saying stuff. No, he was saying what was true. And it helped me to understand why some of the things that happened and so on. And I asked my mom, I said, why did you never do that? Do you see what I'm saying? So I'm saying that our images of ourselves come from a place where they were either affirmed or not affirmed from an early stage or at a key developmental stage in our lifetimes. And when that lack thereof exists, especially from people whom we deem emotionally important, then we're going to search for it, or we're going to try to identify with what their ideal of beauty is. It's simple, right? Even in our society today, the standard of beauty used to be blonde, blue-eyed, right? Not anymore. The standard of beauty is now kind of ambiguously ethnic. I'm not sure what you are, but I accept you. Wait, your eyes are brown? Great. That's okay. Your eyes are dark? Okay. But I think I like you being ambiguously ethnic, right? Thank Kim Kardashian for that. And there's nothing absolutely wrong with that, because that standard of beauty of being white, blonde, and blue eyed was never representative of everyone in the population. So it needed to be modified and adjusted so that everybody else who is not blonde, blue eyed, and white could feel just as beautiful. Because if you're watching TV and all the images on all the commercials that say and typify beauty don't look like you, then you're going to think that something must be wrong with you while you're not beautiful. So we needed to modify that and change that, right? So now that we're embracing all the ethnic content of our population and how the family of human faces look, now that we're doing that, we're changing the imagery of ourselves. But there is still a little bit further we need to go. We need to stop having women look and what I refer to as androgynously. So you see a woman, but you can't tell if she's a girl or boy because she's narrow hipped and she doesn't have a waistline. We need to change that. That came from homosexuals who were in charge of the model industry and the fashion industry, who would put clothes on women who didn't have hips or who didn't have breasts. And so that image that's what makes a woman attractive. She's slender, skinny, no butt, no hips, right? That's what is attractive. So now they say, okay, well, you need some boobs on you because it might remind you detriment of most women. Most women who look like that take drugs. They either take diabetic drugs to suppress appetite, they take appetite suppressants, they take drugs to control their appetites, right? They're constantly in the bathroom pooing and letting out fluids. They don't eat, so their blood sugars are always abnormally low. So they're constantly irritable and miserable to stay a size 2. When anatomically, it's difficult to stay a size 2 because you have to eat to get energy. Now, of course, everybody controls portion sizes, right? We all control portion sizes and the frequency with which we eat. But there comes a time when your metabolism slows down. Naturally, that's what's happening with me. All my life, I had increased metabolism. Now it's just like no matter how much I work out, it's like, hey, I'm tired. Give me a break here. I guess it's going to speed up again. But in the meantime, what happens? Do you see what I'm saying? So we need to get to the stage where, and there are all kinds of other concerns. Sometimes people use food as a drug. They just eat to fill a need that they don't have, that is not being met or satisfied. But I'm saying that we need to reinforce positive body images. And it's the same society that also says why most men do not go get tested and who end up finding that 1% is a large number, right? To say that 1% of people diagnosed are men, that's crazy. That should never happen, right? Because we tell men that they're so ultra masculine, they're so super masculine that it couldn't happen. We tell men don't touch your breast. Why shouldn't you touch your breast? It's your body. You touch other parts of your body, don't you? You roll on under your arm. Hopefully you put Vaseline on your ashy feet and your kneecaps and stuff like that. And on your heels, I hope you do. And on your elbows. So you do touch parts of your body. You touch your face because you shave, I hope. Okay. And you also wipe behind your ears, right? So you are in touch with your body as a man, right? But why aren't you looking at your breast? Especially if you had a family member like your mom, your sister, your aunt, who your grandmother had a problem with breast cancer. You need to take a look. This is what is wrong with our society. It's the imagery, the reinforcements of body imagery. Men can't get in touch with, don't touch your body, don't look at your breast because it couldn't happen to you. It does happen. You don't have to be gay. You don't have to be, oh, well, don't touch your breast because that would mean that you're touching yourself up or you're some feminine stuff. And that's just all woman stuff, man. No, it means you're human. Has nothing to do with sexuality or the identification of sexual roles or gender identity. Right? But it does have, what it does have to do with is what? What? What it does have to do with is everything concerning your health. We need to make sure that we are reinforcing at all times positive body imagery, right? We need to ensure that at all times that we are creating an image in our minds that says that, something, this is not good enough. And I'm a little bit, I must say that as someone who's been sitting on the sidelines for some time, when I hear young women, because young women choose to have, my daughter had a friend in high school, no, when she was in college. And apparently she had grown up with an A cup. And when she went through her first year of college, she went home and came back with a C cup because she convinced her mother to pay for the surgery over Christmas for her to do breast augmentation because she felt like she was not attractive. Where did that imagery come from? When my daughter told me, I was like, wow, it's a bit young to find that out. But she was like, I better do it from now so I can get myself a husband because apparently that's what men want. And we've been socialized as women to always fulfill the requirements and expectations of men. What do men want? I have to be slender in order to be attractive to him. I have to have big breasts in order to be attractive to him. Nowadays, it's the big butt thing. I have to have a butt that looks like a badunkadunk or whatever to be attractive. So people are going out of their way to inject fillers into their butts to have a huge backside. I don't know how they sit down. I don't know how they go to the toilet. I don't know how they put clothes on over these extreme posteriors that look like something out of a comic book. I kid you not. Positive body imagery, right? And so we go to great lengths to ensure that the images we project of our bodies conform to what men like. And I'm like, where is this coming from? Right? Where is this coming from? Who has developed these ideas of what an attractive woman should look like? Interesting, isn't it? Very interesting. So, we're going to wrap up. For those of us who have issues with our bodies and our body types, we need to get back to the center and we need to get back to what is considered positive and what is considered good. And for those of us who have a propensity for breast cancer, we need to take a second look. Maybe going the way of breast augmentation is not the way for it to be done, right? Maybe, I don't know. If you feel like you need to, well, I guess nobody's going to stop you. But we need to examine why that is so, right? So go to my website, harrietkemmick.com. Thank you so much for joining us. We wrapped up our show for today. And thank you so much. We are going to go to, thank you so much for joining us. Have a great day. Make sure you come back again tomorrow when we talk about this and more. As usual, continue to listen to our podcast. We're available on 8 platforms. Thank you so much, everybody. Be blessed.